Hey, this is Thomas Mashad. Welcome back to Brain Doodles. In this lesson of faces and figures, we're going to take a look at the faces. Okay, there's going to be circles. There's going to be squares or rectangles, and maybe even shapes that we're not quite exactly sure what they are. Maybe pear, maybe triangle. Okay, so let's take a look about drawing faces. Now, of course, your basic shape for most of the faces you're going to be drawing are going to be circular. And of course, we have the eyes and then we have the mouth. All right. Now, the cool thing about this is that it's amazing how we can take a circle, we can take two dots, and we can take a line, and that you're going to see, no matter what, your brain is going to say, this is a face. All right. Now, it's going to be pretty simple for you to draw something like that. Even if you think that you can't draw, I'm sure that you can draw a circle, two dots, and a line that can equal a face. Okay. Now, you can also do other examples of squares. Okay. What are the other shapes that we've learned? We've learned the triangle shape. Okay. We can do a triangular shape for a face. Some people have triangular faces, and we can kind of modify that to where it's kind of like this half circle at the top, kind of comes down to a base, kind of flattens out and then back up again. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a strictly triangular shape, although that we can certainly do that, but they can be kind of a modification of the shape. Okay, so same thing with the circle. They could be kind of a more of an elliptical shape. Okay, and this is where we can kind of get kind of a heavier looking face to where they have like this double chin in the mouth. All right. So there's lots of things you could do to play around with each one of the shapes. Maybe instead of a square, maybe they have a very rectangular, very tall face. Maybe the eyes are kind of narrow in, and a long nose or a pointed nose. You could even add in like little features as well. All right. Another cool thing is that you can start to add other objects to the faces. Okay, so let's say we have a basic face and we wanted to do just a little bit more than, the eyes and the mouth, but maybe our particular person that we're trying to remember had glasses. Well, just simply draw a couple of squares or rectangles, and you could add ears as well, and then the lines going back to showing that there's glasses on them. And you could maybe draw thin rectangles for glasses, and you know what, you don't even necessarily have to have the eyes. You could just have the nose and the mouth. Okay, so even if you wanted to do just the face itself, you could do that. All right, now maybe this particular person, they could have other features as well that you could add in. So basic shape, whatever shape that you want to do. Okay, this is kind of like a combination between a circle and a square. We have our basic face. Maybe they have a beard. We looked at in the first lesson Abraham Lincoln, and we kind of drew a beard like so on here, but it was much further away. And so when they're closer up, you can add a little bit more detail. Maybe they have a full beard, so they have maybe like a mustache as well, kind of like a little S curve in there, right? Lines coming down, if we want to do that. Okay, so we can have them with glasses, we can have them with a beard. What about with hair? Okay, so drawing another basic shape, and these are just practice and doodle. Practice and doodle as much as you can. Maybe we do the angled lines. Okay, for maybe like wild hair, we could end up for women. We could have like little curves at the top, and then down at the base of the head, some more curls. Okay, we could darken stuff in if we wanted to. We could add some lines. Okay, put our face in. And so now we have the difference between the man and the female, just simply by adding in a few extra lines for the hair. Or maybe the guy has long hair as well, so we could maybe draw him with a mullet or something like that. Okay, so adding in objects, other little basic shapes to the face, we can do a lot more. Make our characters come out a little bit more than just some basic, circles and squares. Maybe they have a receding hairline. So, you just draw this little piece of hair up here, maybe some on the sides a little bit, and then the eyes, okay, and the mouth. Also, one other thing that you might want to take a look at is, maybe they're drawing, straight on. They could be going at it from the side, like maybe for somebody wearing a baseball cap. Okay, maybe you're doing something about a baseball player. Circle, half circle for the nose, eye, and then here's going to be really simple solution for the hat. Is that just draw, a curve, slight curve, and then kind of color that in for the hat, and then kind of like this half circle and a straight line. Okay, so then we have kind of like this baseball hat. Maybe a little dot up top for the little metal button that kind of attaches the whole cap together. So you can draw them facing forward or facing onto the side, and that really helps out when you're drawing somebody who's wearing a baseball cap. Maybe you're needing to do something like that. Okay, so let's take a look at seeing how we can use faces to really kind of add in some detail to somebody else that we're learning about in our visual notes. Okay, let's say that we're going to be learning about another president. Okay, this particular president, and we're going to draw them very large because we're going to be really detailing the head. Now, their head has more of a triangular shape to it. Not a strict triangle shape, but a little bit bigger at the top, coming down narrow at the bottom. Okay. They also have, larger ears, so we can draw those out. These are just half circles. And sometimes we can do what is called caricature. It's not something that, we have to draw exactly the way. Maybe we're just drawing, things to exaggerate them so they can remember that, hey, they have big ears. All right. There's a few different presidents that have had big ears. So that doesn't tell us much about it right now. Their hair is very closely cropped to their head. It kind of comes down a little bit, and now here it has they have dark hair, and it's next to their head. It's not thick, okay? So we're just going to take the shape of the head and then darken in some lines, all right? Now they often have a smile, big smile, and the teeth are very white. We see them a lot on television, so of course. For a lot of people today, having very white teeth is very, very important of being out in the public. And now this particular president doesn't match most of the presidents in history. There's about 99% of them are white. This one has more shading. Okay. When they smile, when people often smile, they have their eyes kind of closed. And because of it not being a European descendant president, the nose is a little flatter, so it kind of comes out a little bit. So this one, of course, is Barack Obama. Okay, and for here, we've seen some techniques of adding some shading. So, somebody who is white versus somebody who is darker skinned, that we'll end up adding in some shading on that one. We don't have to shade the whole face necessarily. Okay. Then we can start to put out, our little bullet points. This is our 44th president. It's our current president. Also, that for this particular president. We can draw a couple of lines down here. They're often in a suit, so we could draw out a straight line, kind of a curve down. A couple more lines for the suit. Circle and another triangular shape. So we have a triangle shape, and then we can darken that in to showing that they're often in a suit. Okay. Add in some more lines. Other things that the big thing for his campaign was Campaign of Hope. So you could use your lettering for that as well. And even kind of, going and looking at the logo itself of how that kind of looked. All right. So Hope campaign. They're also from what state are they? Is Barack Obama from? And then maybe drawing out the shape of Illinois. Okay. Just a very basic shape. Not one of the easier shaped states, but straight line down, straight line across, angled line down, kind of pregnant. Okay. And so maybe particularly that actually he's more up from here of Chicago, Illinois, and we can say, oh, by the way, the capital here is Springfield, and that's where he spent part of his career, was in Springfield, Illinois, as a state representative. So, we can draw faces much larger. So, not necessarily just having to be figures, but we can see more detail, and then adding in the bullet points so that we can help to remember the details about this particular president. All right, so figure out how you can do this a little bit more. Go through some more exercises and practice, practice, practice.